Welcome, happy Thursday. Hope you all have had a great week. I'm Paula Montgomery, and I want to welcome you to Desert Cat Creations. We are home of the Bead Stash Challenge, so today it's week 11 of the Bead Stash Challenge. For 2026, we'll be making some wine glass markers and showing you how to make those from scratch. Excited to show you that. Let's see what else is going on. Hey, it's, Arizona. Summer came early. It's going to be 100 degrees today. Can you believe that? In Tucson? Yeah. It's not even spring, or it's not even officially summer yet. So that's kind of crazy, but the cactus blooms are starting, though. I will post some of them over on our Bead Stash Challengers page. If you haven't already, please join us. And I forgot to put that link up. Let me see. All right, there we go. So you can join our Bead Stash Challengers group if you haven't already. And I'll share a few pictures of the cactus blooms that are starting. I even have some in my yard this year because I planted some cactus last year, and they're all, right now, all except for one are blooming. And I think that one bloomed last year, so it was a little later in the season. So we'll see how long that takes. Oh, and I have one other that's not blooming, but I can see little buds coming up. So yay. If you're out there, let me know you're out there. Say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. Always love to know who's joining me. Just a reminder, Easter is coming quickly. So if you haven't already, if you haven't already expanded your bunny collection enough, we do have a limited edition bunny kit. So these guys are, I call it the Copper Bunny limited edition. So the bodies are half and half, white and kind of a copperish brown. It's more brown than copper, really. But anyways, I only had 10 of these to start with. I have 8 currently available. So if you're interested in those, let me know. You can either direct message me, you can comment on this video, or you can check out our website at desert-cat-creations.square.site. Okay, that's our website. We also have the 3 bunny kit, which I know my ad didn't quite. I only showed the one bunny because I couldn't find the picture real quick. But these were our original bunnies. So the current bunny kit, a little different color schemes. Matter of fact, either the large or medium bunny would be purple. And it'll be an assortment of colors, but they will all go together. So, hey, Janelda. Just talking about bunnies and dropping them on the floor. Fortunately, these things are pretty sturdy, but, I wouldn't go around throwing them on the floor like I just did. But anyways, let me know. The 3 bunny kit is $25. The 2 bunny special limited kit is $15. And they do come with written instructions, which I've updated the instructions with the current style of beads that we use. So very excited that I got that done. So all right, let's go ahead and flip the camera over and see what we're working with today. Let's zoom in a little. And if you remember our cards that we drew, we're going to make a wine glass or bottle holder. So bottle marker, sorry. I decided to do wine glass markers today. All right. So we have to use wire in our designs. So I have chosen some 18 gauge soft flex silver plated wire. We have to use black in our design. So, all right, let's dump our beads out of our little basket here. And So I am going to use some black obsidian beads. This is silver, what do they call it? Silver sheen black obsidian. So there's a little bit of silverish color, but they are black obsidian, okay? So we are going to use those. And we're going to use teal or turquoise, which, you know, we have plenty of that around here. I guess I'm not quite on my screen here. All right. So I've got some turquoise rondelle beads. We're going to use those. All right. And then we have to have it inspired by a sunset. Well, you know, if I wasn't using the black and the turquoise, although the turquoise, you know, now that I think about it, I probably could have figured it out, that color scheme that reflected a sunset. But I am just going to add some little sun charms, because you can't have a sunset without the sun, right? So, so that's what we're doing today. All right. So let's move the cards aside so they don't get in the way of things. I'm gonna pull a few beads off of this strand. And I have some charms, or some jump rings to go with the charms. All right. And I chose 18 gauge just because I wanted it to be kind of sturdy. You could use thinner gauge wire. It's fine. Oh, hey, Lorraine. Welcome. All right. So what I want to do is, where's my glass? So I have a glass, so any glass that has a stem. So even if you're not a drinker, but you like to, you know, drink out of a stemmed glass, that's an option. We are going to make something that goes around the bottom of this. You know, the main goal is if you're having a party or you have multiple people, you know, you want to be able to identify your glass, right? So that's what these markers are for. Now, sometimes I use, I've used memory wire, the ring size memory wire to make these, but we are gonna just make one out of plain wire today. And so let's think about this a little bit. I don't need a ton, but I am going to put a hook and a wrapped loop. So let's see if 4 inches will do it. You know, you don't need a whole lot of room. It's more so you have the ability to close it without too much trouble around the wine glass stem, right? All right, so I'm gonna put a loop in one end. So the question is, I could do a simple loop or I can do a wrapped loop. I thought I'd do a wrapped loop just because it would hold up a little better over time. All right, so I'm gonna go down about an inch because I need fairly decent size loop. All right, so we're gonna do our 90-degree turn. Now I'm gonna use my 6 size mandrel, so we're gonna use the 2 in the back, which are the largest. I'm gonna stick the wire between there, and you want that V heading away from what you want. So I'm gonna use the second largest one. And I don't have quite enough wire, so I am gonna tuck that in a little. All right, so this is what I have right now. So using an inch, that was a little short, but well, we'll make it work. All right, so we're just pushing that wire in a little bit. So I am just going to do a single wrap around here. So I am going to hold that loop with one pair of pliers, and I'm going to grab that end, because remember this is 18 gauge, so it's a little thick. And I am just going to wrap that end around. And let's see if we can tuck that the rest of the way around this wire. So note to self, use more than an inch. But anyways, now you have basically an eye pin, okay? So now we know how to figure out our beads. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put my charms on these jump rings. Now I'm using different charms because I don't want them to match, because I want you to have a unique charm on your wine glass so that you know it's your wine glass. I don't know about you, but my husband is one of those people that he loses his glass and then he will pick up whichever one thinking it's his and drink your drink. So I'm constantly having to fuss. So, all right, so you know, we don't have a whole lot of room here, and I need to be able to make some sort of hook at the end, right? So I'm just thinking we'll put some beads on here. Now make sure, if you're going to use 18 gauge, you got to make sure your beads have a large enough hole in them. I actually had pulled out some different black onyx at first. All right, and I'm going to just put the charm in there. But the other black onyx I had, the holes were really tiny. So I had to switch to my more expensive black onyx. So, but, you know, it's all good, right? One of my goals this year, remember, was to use more gemstones. So that's what I've got going here. Now, I'm going to work on bending this. Let's see, what would I... Trying to think of what you guys would have that might be good for bending this around. Let's try. Have some nail polish here. Bend it around there. It's still gonna be a little big. So remember, it doesn't have to be real big. It just has to be big enough that you can connect the sides. So, you know, you could use that and then just work at this. So now I want to put a hook in this end. I don't need a necessarily a big loop. We can move it. Let's make it and I probably got it going. Oh, I didn't. Did good, but my thing is too long because I'm not going to be able to get that closed. Okay, so I am going to cut a little bit off the end here. And then let's see if we can get this so it will go through that loop. All right, I'm gonna bend this loop a little. Like I still have my loop a little long. All right. So there we go. We were able to tuck that in there, and it probably won't come off. So let's put that on the glass and see how that worked. I didn't love that. So I think I'm going to try something different. We're going to make a second one, but it's probably not going to go anywhere. So there you go. We've got one wine glass marker there. All right, so let's try the second one. We will make, I'm going to make a separate loop, okay? Or I'm going to make the, you'll see. All right, let me get some more beads out here. All right, so that was a 4-inch thing. I'm gonna do, so this will be 2 pieces. So I'm gonna do 3.5. And then we're also gonna make a separate loop that's gonna go on here, okay? So one side I need a small loop, one side I need a big loop. So I'm gonna make my big loop first. So remember, we need a little bit more, just a tad bit more than 1 inch. If we use that same size loop. And again, I'm putting that V in there, and then I am pulling my wire around. All right, and then I'm going to, again, just hold on to that loop. Don't want to knock my glass over. Yes, I'm using like a tiny dessert wine glass, but I didn't want to pull a big glass out. But you know, a stem is a stem, right? All right, and I even have water glasses with stems on them. So, like I said, you may not be much of a drinker, but. All right, so let's put on our beads. Now I may have to, we may have to shorten this and think about what size the my loop that I'm going to make, but it's not going to be a closed loop, so it'll be, it's all good, right? All right, so I have the same number of beads on there. And now I just want a simple loop on the end of this one, but I am going to use the like the third biggest. Let's see. Nope, it doesn't quite fit. All right, so the second All right, we're just doing a simple loop. It's okay because we're going to add onto that. But I do want to go ahead and bend this. All right, so now I want to make a small hook clasp, basically. So I am going to make a small loop in here. And then I need a loop that can hold on to the other side, so you're gonna do that. And I am going to trim that like right even with the end, or closely even with the end. And then I am going to put a tiny loop at this end, okay? So I've got a hook clasp here. And I want to hook it on here. I want this facing so the two ends are parallel to each other. And then I'm just going to connect this on there, treating it like it's a jump ring. I am turning it sideways, and then I am slowly closing that back up, okay? And then to close this around the wine glass, I'm just gonna squeeze and hook that loop in there. All right, so let's pull this off and see what it looks like. Come on. Let me get my stuff out of the way. All right. Now, I could probably use a shorter end to make it easier. But, you know, I wanted it kind of springy. And there we go. See, it hooked on there like that. And now I know that the sun with the hole in the middle is my glass, okay? What you guys think of that? And when you go to wash it, you just take it off. So I think I will shorten that a little because it's going to end up causing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that like right there at the end of that little loop. And now it fits on there, all right? I could still put a small loop in there. Yeah, not gonna try this. What? Or this is too thick. Now you might want to hammer this so it doesn't lose its shape. Or remember, you can take some flat nose pliers and just squeeze it to help it maintain its shape. So, and you know, it just needs to hold it enough that it's not going to fly off your wine glass. All right. Well, that was easy, huh? Get everything out of the way. Something tells you I'm an engineer. You know, I do like to, I do like to do structural things. But now I have a pair of wine glass markers. So we used wire, obviously, yeah. We used our black obsidian beads. We used our turquoise rondelles, and we used suns to show our sunset. So you can never go wrong with black and turquoise, right? So another variation I could have done, I was thinking the black wouldn't work real well with the sunset, but you know, I was thinking I could have built it like black being a really dark ocean, right? The shadows, and then the turquoise sea, and then we could build up the colors of the sunset. That would have been an alternate way to represent our sunset, but this is what we get, so. All right. All right, well, thanks again for joining me. As always, please like and follow Desert Cat Creations on Facebook and Instagram, and we will be moving this video over to YouTube, where it will reside, in case you want to come back and watch it more than 30 days later. Please subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't. And we appreciate all the free support. I've been working on something for you guys. I'm working on a quail, crystal quail, but right now, I don't know. He looks more like a dodo bird. I got to play some more. I think I put his little thing off his head. I don't know what it's called, in the wrong place. I need to look that up, but it's kind of cute and silly all at the same time. But I'm gonna get it sorted out to where I like how it looks. But I do have them standing on their feet, so that was pretty exciting. But when I moved their little, like I said, the feather of their top to their heads, that may not help. And I know not all quails have those, but Arizona quails, the Gamble's quails, and the California quails do have them. So I think it's so cute, and we see lots of them running around right now. So, and you know, when they have their babies, it's so cute because the mom and dad both stay with them and the babies, and so their little family group will stay together long after the kids are kind of grown up. So you'll see these big groups running around, and I think I shared a video last year of because we had a whole family walking through our backyard, and so it's like mom and like, you know, like 18 little guys, little fuzzy guys. They're very cute, but so I'll have to show those to you guys. But like I said, I need to try a little something, and I haven't figured out if they need a tail or not. That's my other because, you know, some quails don't have much of a tail. The little babies don't have much of a tail. So the baby's probably not going to have a tail, but I kind of feel like mom or dad has to have a tail. And I haven't decided if, you know, there's going to be a mom, dad, and baby, or what, because I'll have to check whether I have a third size or not. Right now I've just been playing with 2 sizes. So anyways, more to come, so hopefully I will get that sorted out, and yeah, looking at a couple other things. So all right, hope you all have a great week. I know it's short and sweet today. We'll be back on Sunday. I'm thinking we are going to make a project with these fun pastel beads. They're so springy because you know what? It's going to be spring on Sunday, or summer on Sunday. So, you know, I guess the pastel should have been spring. Either way, Easter's coming. They're very springy. Or actually, no, spring starts this weekend. Yeah. They fly short distances. They do not fly, you know, like they'll fly up on a fence or into a tree. But they walk a lot, which I think is the funniest thing, because they'll run across a street instead of flying across the street. So, yeah, so that's extra cute too, because they all go flying off. But you know, if they get spooked, they will fly a short distance. So yeah, they don't fly long distances. So. You missed Kay yesterday. I caught her on the replay because I was running errands and stuff. So, anyways, it was good to see her. All right, we will, like I said, be back on Sunday, noon Pacific time. Once again, guys, I appreciate you guys changing your schedule with me. You know, you guys all spring forward to get more daylight. Here we like start setting our clocks backwards. Well, not our clock, but our alarm clocks backwards earlier, because you got to get up earlier before it gets too hot to do anything. So it really is the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So we have the best birds there. We do have some cool birds, yeah. And I'm still thinking about the, I'm going to work on the Roadrunner too. It's just, you know, he definitely has to have a tail. And he's got a little thing on his head too, the little feathers that pop up on his head. So we'll get them there. So, all right. Hey, Marionica, I'm just signing off. You can catch the replay. See you all guys on Sunday. Bye.